Budget gear deserves a bit of love too, right? This is the Zecti model ZT-017, and it's a LED panel, and I think you're gonna like this one. 15 watts output, 1500 LM luminous flux, color temperature 3200K to 5600 daylight. That's the important bit for me, but the adjustable range is very useful. Although for me, I use these things basically at daylight, but hey, for a bit of creative lighting, could be very interesting. You can power it with a not included NP F550 or F750 or F960 battery. It does come with a DC power cable, but I'm tempted. Well, actually, I think I want to get the battery so I can use it out and about a lot more. Right, stats, plastic, panel, not throwing that on the floor, another plastic, and the cable. As far as power sources go, well, this is a fairly standard plasticky number, but the cable is decent. Sometimes they're just too short for these kind of applications. You know, with an LED panel, you want to move it around. This is the panel I currently use. It's a Pixel Sonon DL912, and way back when I started doing YouTube videos, I think there's one about this, yes. It's not particularly good quality, but hey, we're progressing. And I like it, but what I've not been happy with is the batteries. If you use AA's, my experience has been pretty duff. I put the adapter in, which actually uses the same batteries as my Canon, which I thought was very handy. And so I took this when I went traveling, actually, just for, you know, a bit of creative lighting. But I found it was really unreliable for some reason, and I need to check that out. Something was going on that it kept disconnecting all the time, and just, it let me down a bit. But I did use it out and about in the streets of, I think it was Cali mainly, and I enjoyed it. I like the idea, and this has clip on and off panels, so you can adjust it. Compared to this one, the Zecti, not noticeably different in weight, but it's definitely slimmer, about half. Yeah, I like that. And a little bit taller, but the fact that it's slimmer, I think I could easily slip that into a pocket without it bulging out, or two of them, slip the batteries on afterwards, and then you're away. Straightforward panel on the front, no room for filters. DC, we just plug in and we're away. On the back, room for the battery. So obviously you wouldn't need that then, and you could just take it around with you. You've got on off here, mode to switch between it dimming and the color temperature, and you've got plus and minus. On the bottom, you've got a screw thread, and there's another little notch there, which reminds me, don't throw the plastic away, because you'll probably end up throwing away the universal shoe mount. Nice little thing this is actually, and this goes on the bottom there, and it's got a little notch to line up, and then you can just screw it in, and then it's on in place. With this little GoPro style thing, you can pull that off and attach that to any GoPro kind of mount. That's quite handy. We'll leave that for the moment. Of course, you can adjust it however you want. Let's just get it straight. And here you've got a screw for the cold shoe mount. On the bottom of there is a nice little screw thread mount. Simple, but does the job. We got to see how long it will last, but all signs are positive. Press the on button and we're away. And you can see right there with the plus and the minus how it will rock between color temperatures in that mode. 3500 to 5600. Here we've got that mode button, and that'll take us from 10 to 99, which is almost blinding me because clearly I've got it in my face. And we press intensity, let the camera adjust. Now I shoot in manual, but obviously it's going to adjust exposure according to my settings with this light. Looking at the screen, I prefer that to that natural for some things. Let's see if I can get this so you can see it. There we go. That's pretty wild. It's a decent power right there. Of course you've got the stats, but in a room such as this, it'll fill nicely. A couple of them in a 12 by 12, 13 by 13 room, you know, could work out nicely. I can't promise that the colours are spot on accurate. You need a meter for that, and we need somebody with that kind of knowledge to test it. But let me just check out with my Lifix bulb. Let's get this back to daylight. Yep, daylight. Lifix. The Lifix is now pumping out daylight, and now let's switch it to closer to 2600, 3000, 3000. There we go. So if we've got daylight, 5600, and then I put this in fill, that's a whole different ball game. I mean, I kind of like no extra lights, and this one kind of dramatic. Let's take it in a really dodgy room and just have a quick play. Well, that's messed up the exposure. Pixel Sonnen and the Zecti. Let me put the Zecti down so the light goes off me from the Zecti. Let the exposure adjust, and that's where we're at. You can see I'm holding it off there, but let me just put this in the place of the Pixel Sonnen and see what the difference is. So there's the Pixel Sonnen on me right now, and let's hope it is Pixel Sonnen, otherwise I've been waffling. We're gonna turn it off. So remember, you can just flick between this point and the next point. I'm just gonna hold it. So there you go. There's that Zecti. Let me look across to the screen. Seems all right, seems nice and bright. Let's turn off this dodgy light. Let the exposure adjust. And there we go. I think, to all intents and purposes, having a quick double check on the screen, that's not too bad. It's not the worst ever. Remember, this is just one panel. What you do is you just adjust it to where it should be, you know, your creative desire, and then you're in. So that was a ZT-017. What do you think? Of course, it's not exactly a scientific lighting test, but you know, I think this thing is going to work out nicely out and about. I need to test it with the battery to see if it's really going to be reliable, because, well, the last one looked like it was going to be decent, although definitely doesn't have the features that this one has. I would get this over the Pixel Sonnen now, although the Pixel Sonnen was a bit cheaper, but this is definitely worth it for the little bit more. Yeah, and that didn't turn out to be so capable when it comes to using batteries. Let's hope this one does. If you've tried anything out recently, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave a comment. It's not all about the smaller brand stuff, but isn't it fun to find something cool and useful that you can throw in your kit bag and not worry too much about? And maybe some of it we can put into our professional working day-to-day stuff. Interesting. Again, not the best outro. Probably some of the video wasn't that good either. Lifetime of 50,000 hours. So this thing's going to live longer than some of us.